Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Gullen, hanging out in the studio today with my usual partner in crime, Tony Shore. How you doing, Tony?
Oh, I am great, Barb. Great to be here. Excited to be here. Absolutely great. Had another fantastic week. But, Barb, here's the deal. The best part of my week is doing the show with you. Every Friday we record the show,
It's kind
and
of the highlight of my week. It's a great way to button up the week.
it's fun. It's fun, and you make it fun. Just like your title today. I said, what do you want to call the show? What are we talking about? And you said, give your future self a raise. And I'm like, this is something that title would make me want to listen to the show. How can I
That's so
give my
simple.
future self a raise? What's going on out there? A lot of changes coming for
Yes.
2026. Um,
Yes.
I hope to slow down my pizza intake in 2026.
There
That's
we
kind of
go.
that's a big goal. Do you have any bold predictions for 2026? I think we'll probably see a market correction at some point. It happens every
Yeah.
year
I,
usually.
I think since it's a midterm election year, the nicest thing I can say is buckle up, Buttercup.
Oh,
Just
gee, I think we even have a buckle up, Buttercup.
And whose voice would that be, Tony?
Well, it wasn't you doing that voiceover, I'll tell you that. It wasn't your sweet voice. It was it was mine. Yeah.
It's going to be a volatile year. It's going to be a year to not
Probably.
panic.
Yeah, don't panic.
It's going to be a year where if you are still working, understand that when we see those corrections, you're buying stuff on sale. And it's a year where if you're retired, hopefully your advisor has positioned you so that if you're drawing from the accounts, you're drawing from something that is not going to be as affected by the ups and downs in the market.
Right. Yeah, and that's when people like in April when the market dropped 20%, people
Yes,
panicked and got out, and then they missed the huge upswing, and you don't wanna be
they
that
did.
person. No,
No, you don't. You
no.
don't. And I think that we are going to see bits and pieces of that. The midterm election years this century have been the volatile ones and have
That's
been the
true.
years, and we have had 3 back-to-back years of double-digit returns on the S&P 500. That's not a completely sustainable model.
No, no, it's been crazy. It's been on a huge upswing, but now, yesterday reports came out about, maybe some concerns about OpenAI, which has kind
Mhm,
of been one of the big leaders in the AI field and in the stock market. So it's interesting to see what's happening. And
mhm.
Nvidia had an amazing year, but these things change, and you have to make sure you have an overall plan and don't have all your eggs in one basket, as you've said many times before. But how do we, looking at 2026, let's jump into the topic. How do we give ourselves a raise, our future selves
Right.
a raise? What's going on that,
Well,
that is going to
every
enable that?
every year, the Internal Revenue Service evaluates what inflation is doing, and they can or sometimes don't adjust contribution limits to your retirement accounts and what the maximum amounts are based on what inflation has done and where we are with all of that. So, good news is you can put more money away this year.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
In
So they've raised
2026,
those limits.
they raise the contribution limits on your 401k, your TSP, your 403bs, any of those tax deferred and Roth options as well.
Yeah.
Next year, you can put away $24,500. If you
Wow.
are over 50, you can put away an additional 8,000 on top of that. And then if you're between the ages of 60 and 63, you have a special catch-up contribution limit, which I think is like 11,250 or 11,500.
Okay.
I need to look at that really quick because I just realized I didn't look that specific one up.
Sure. Now, there's contribution limits and rules for regular, we're talking about retirement accounts,
Right.
employer-sponsored retirement accounts. Do the limits also go up on traditional IRAs?
The traditional IRAs stayed steady at $7,500 a
Okay.
year, or a Roth IRA, but they increased the catch-up amount to 1,100. So if you're over 50, you can put away up to $8,600 in 2026.
Yeah. Okay.
So, every little bit helps. And one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past is whether we think taxes are going to go up or whether they're going to go down. And this is some advice, but if I'm not your advisor, and even if I am your advisor, I'm not advising you directly in this podcast. Okay. If you've got questions about this, you either need to reach out to us or talk to your current financial advisor.
Hmm.
It might make sense if you're putting money into a traditional 401k, TSP, 403b. If your company offers a Roth option, it might make sense to explore that.
Okay. So
Okay.
the Roth option there's a lot of benefits that possible there. And before people do any of this, though, they need to consult with someone like yourself,
Right.
right? To
Right.
figure out
Because
what should I put where. That's where you come in and can really help them save money, make more money, or avoid costly mistakes.
Right, because when you are contributing to the traditional 401k, 403b, TSP, that money doesn't count toward your taxable income. And it keeps it's going to reduce your W-2. When you contribute to the Roth, you're paying taxes on that now. So it's going to increase your W-2 amount. And in fact, I think I've
Uh,
told this story before where I was meeting with a prospective client out of state, in a different state. I'm in Kansas right now. And his son could attend the state school, which was a very good school, tuition free because his adjusted gross income was below a certain threshold. His W-2 income was below a certain threshold. And somebody at his office told him to switch from traditional to Roth, not realizing that that was going to push his W-2
oh,
over that income limit.
into a higher tax bracket.
Well,
And
not only into a higher tax bracket, but then
oh, the income limit for
his
his.
son couldn't attend school
That's right.
tuition free anymore.
Yes. Yes, yeah, you lose a lot of benefits when you hit a
Right.
certain level, and if you're in retirement, your, Medicare premium might go up
Right.
if you do
Right.
something at the wrong time that pushes your, income level up,
And yeah, and that's my
yeah,
cautionary tale when people are like, I can do this
yep.
myself.
Yep, you
Uh,
have told that story before, but it's a good reminder that, hey, you've gotta look at the big picture, and that's why you do what you do, and you just showed the value of working with a trusted financial professional who's looking out for these things and saying, "Hey, wait a minute. If you do this, let's look at all the benefits you get at your income level, and are you gonna lose some of those
right.
because you make too much money?" And a lot of people end up in those situations, don't they?
They do. And for
Yeah.
some people, paying the taxes now and having tax-free income later on in life makes more sense. But if we're going to jeopardize something like your kid being able to go to school tuition free, then we need to weigh all of the options when we're considering that. So, you know, but it's just one of those things where people take for granted that they can do it themselves. And, I mean, I go see my doctor when I have questions, when I've got the runny nose that won't go away or
Yep.
something else. That's why I have a doctor.
Right.
But, if somebody wants to call our offices, we have actually calculated how much you would need to have withdrawn from your paycheck based on how many paychecks you get a year
Yep.
to maximize that benefit whether you're in the under 50, 24,500, or with that $8,000 catch up, that is $32,500 this year that you personally can set aside for your future self.
Hmm. Well, and that's huge. I mean, if you can do that and manage that and make it work, that's a lot. That's pretty good.
Well, and when you put it to work for you and it compounds over time, that
Yeah.
that amount should increase significantly.
And it could make or break someone's retirement. I mean, this is really critical to get this right and make sure you're putting as much away as possible. And I love those catch-up provisions. I mean, not that
Mhm.
I would know anyone over 55, but once you turn 55, you get all those catch-up provisions you can
Actually,
put
it's
in.
over 50.
Oh, over 50. Yeah. I'm just yeah, I'm aging myself now.
Well, and
I'm personally over 55.
I might have misspoken at the top of the podcast because I am 55.
Yeah.
So that
But you don't look a day over 45, which
Well,
is
thank
nice.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, no one would have guessed that. You didn't have to say your age on the air.
It's the company I keep,
People think you're
they
much
keep me
younger.
young.
Yeah, yeah, Eric keeps you young, right? And all your
I keep
friends.
him young, yes.
Ah, there you go.
It's
There
my
you go.
kids, it's getting out and enjoying the sunshine and the fresh air and doing things, so,
You know, some people
anyway,
say their kids keep them young. I'm like, "Man, my kids are aging me at this point."
it depends.
On the day.
It
Depends
it
on the
it's
day.
yeah, exactly, it's a case by case thing.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
like it's a kid by kid, case by case, day by day thing. I'm
oh, so
teasing.
true, so true.
Children do keep you young, but
We
when they
love our
become
kids.
adults, then sometimes, yeah,
We love our kids.
we do.
But, if you are planning on retiring eventually, because I know there are some people that believe they're never going to retire. There's some
Yeah.
people who love what they do and don't want to retire. And let's hope that an illness or something catastrophic doesn't get in the middle of all of that. But mastering your money and understanding what your plan is for the future and implementing a plan is actually one of the greatest gifts you can give, not only to yourself but to your family, so
Mm,
that if something happens, you've got a plan in place.
yes, and that's hugely important.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
We are unfortunately, one of my neighbors had some cognitive issues, and
Oh,
they were never married, they didn't have any kids, and so now the extended family is having to work through the process of becoming a guardian and
mm.
getting things squared away and all
Oh,
of that.
that's so
So,
hard.
yeah, it is. It is. This person has been a neighbor since I moved into that house before the turn of the century.
Wow.
So, yeah, yeah. But, giving yourself that future raise, aside from the fact that I could sit here and say one of the best ways to do that is to not get into consumer debt, stay away from the credit cards and do all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And again, if you're considering maxing out your retirement accounts and you are carrying a lot of that debt, perhaps we ought to look at dividing and conquering,
Yes.
reducing that consumer debt. You're always going to want to contribute at least whatever your employer is matching, because
Yeah,
that's
you
free
you
money.
can't stop contributing to your retirement accounts to pay
No.
off credit card debt, and you shouldn't do that, but you might wanna wait to increase it or max it
Right.
out
Right.
until you get the credit card debt paid off is what
Right.
you're saying. Always
Yes. And I
always
will
put money in always be adding to, your retirement and emergency funds and savings, but then also you have to pay down that credit card
you
debt. That
do.
needs to
And
be a priority
And
too.
the reason you never wanna stop is the time value of money. The eighth wonder of the world is compound interest.
Yes.
So, while you are working on getting out of debt, you at least want to contribute whatever amount your employer matches so that you are at least capitalizing on that match and getting that growth.
Sure. There you go. I think that's fantastic. So, I love the fact though that they had pretty decent increases, and I'm
They
glad to
did.
see they're doing that to allow people to save more for retirement.
Mhm.
Now the trick is coming up with that money to max out those accounts and take
Right.
advantage of these new higher levels, so you can give yourself a raise, your future self a raise. When you're retired, you'll be able to utilize that, and the
Right.
compounding interest is going to be huge if you can hit that max level. That's huge.
It can, and, again, before you make those choices, talk to a qualified fiduciary financial advisor who can help you weigh your options. Because the other side of maxing out that retirement account is if you need that money and you're under 55 or 59 and a half, you can pull that money out at 55 in certain circumstances. It's complex, but it can be done. Y- If you're pulling it out before then, you're either borrowing against the account, or if you're taking a distribution, you're paying early withdrawal penalties. And if it's a pre tax account, you're paying income taxes on top of that.
Hmm.
It might behoove you, again, to open up some other channels of saving, whether that is a brokerage account or something else that isn't going to be qualified as a retirement account and is out from under that tax deferred umbrella, so that the money is liquid and you can still access it if you need it.
There you go. I think that's great. Yeah. And you have to utilize these strategies. And again, like you say, don't make any of the moves without working with somebody like yourself. So, how can our listeners out there get a hold of you?
They can always go to our website, bgwealthmanagement.com. And at the top menu, there's a button that says Contact Us. Fill out a form and we will reach out to you as soon as we get that. Or you can call our offices at area code 913-553-6222. And Christina or another member of the team will reach out to you and get you either on my calendar or one of the other fiduciaries in the office.
Awesome. I think that's great, Barb. A great show today. I really
Thanks.
appreciate it. And I know that we're probably going to have maybe one or two shows left this year, and it's been a great year with you,
It
Barb.
has been a great year. It's been a really fun year,
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah, it has. Well, I will see you again soon. And
Yep.
listeners and viewers, thanks for tuning in. We will see you again soon. That does it for today's episode of Anchor Your Retirement with our host, Barb Goen.
We'll see you soon.